Welcome to Stansted. This was the best airport in London, but they really ruined it with all these sort of temporary walls that they put up now. I mean, I guess they must have their reasons, but I think it's absolutely ruined a really great building. It just doesn't work as well as the way Norman Foster planned it. But travelling like this, great way to test out the reMarkable move. And I'll let you know my thoughts. I'm thinking it could be that pocketable device that stops me needing the S Pen or the Samsung. We'll see. Because it isn't quite pocketable, is it? Not in a trouser pocket like a phone is. But it might mean that I can read on it, which the phone wasn't ever going to do. And I was going to say the main thing wrong with Stansted is flying Ryanair actually, but they weren't so bad. They've importantly removed the advertising that was on the back of the seats and it was on the overhead luggage compartments, which was so annoying, so I'm glad they've got rid of that. Yeah, it's a good flight. And I've arrived in Berlin. Excited for this first morning. I definitely feel like I'm going to fit right in with the tech bros at the show. Very glad to have stayed in Mira rather than out in Kudamm, for instance. And I watched a couple of really good videos on the move yesterday. Firstly, Rod's live stream. I mean, the enthusiasm was just, yeah. If you don't know, Rod's channel is rants about tech, and he's always good for a hot take. And two of his hot takes was, firstly, if reMarkable could just put a killer reading app on the move, then they would absolutely smash the whole market. And secondly, that this is a move by reMarkable to make a device that is there to be seen, that can be really seen out in public. So people start to see people sitting and scribbling on these little things. Just adds to that whole desirability factor. And secondly, Basil's video from Tech Edit was really good. He had some really good points there. That, yeah, being a journalist and growing up that size was very natural to him, but he made the point that it would be nice if, rather than coming through as a column in the middle of a paper pro note, it could actually be left justified. I think that's a really sensible observation of his, and something reMarkable should definitely add. And what else did he say? I'm just checking. The gestures, things like swipe from the top left brings you to your recents, which is really useful. Actually, I think just the more you live with a certain ecosystem, the more you get used to the gestures and how useful they can be. And then also how useful the orientation change is, how quick that is. The orientation change the landscape, so you can write right across the screen and then that comes through as a normal document on your Paper Pro. And also for him, for being a journalist, being able to review documents and scribble all over them with pen in that landscape format. So you've got that full width of almost A4 width is a really useful tool as well. One other thing I've noticed is that I've actually worn down the nib already, which is just testament to how much I've actually been using it and how much I've been enjoying it as well. And one of the things Basil mentioned, of course, is no fingerprint reader, which for a pro level device, it's a pretty big miss. And when I actually make videos with the inks, the way to scroll with one hand for some reason, I always just disable the pin code entry because it's just a nuisance putting that on and off. But that is a bit of a pain point, really. Basil mentioned it fits in a trouser pocket, in like a baggy jean pocket, and yes, at a push, but it is nowhere near phone size, and there's no way that I'm walking around all day with something this size in my pocket, so it's just not a pocketable device, which is interesting because it seems like these mobile e-ink devices are incredibly popular, and here at IFA, I don't know if you've seen the news, but it seems that Boox might be about to launch a colour Boox Palma, which would be a really interesting film to do. And of course, there's the colour Big Me High Break Pro coming soon as well. And that's a very interesting proposition, certainly. And I think it's very interesting that every reviewer I've seen seems to be keen to use this thing long term. And sure, I share their excitement, but I'm not sure whether I'm quite ready to go away from Supernote and Boox as my sort of main ear combo, but we'll see. I will certainly be using this. And it was telling when I was packing for this trip that I automatically reach for a paper notebook and a pen. And of course, I have these small little moleskins that slip in anywhere. And I thought to myself, well, that would be a good thing to bring, that habit of putting paper and a pen in my bag. And I just thought, no, I'm going to commit to the reMarkable Pro move. And I'm glad that I did. Let's hope it's worked out well. I think that was a good call. So I've seen Seta there about the future of AI, and it was interesting. He talked about AI influencers and said that that'll be okay. People will trust them as long as they're relatable and authentic. So there we go. That's a bit of a contradiction in terms, isn't it? What I'd love to hear more, and I'd love to talk more about reMarkable's ideas about AI, because I've been talking all day about this really considered and considerate bit of tech that lets you think. And here we are. You walk in here and you're just absolutely blown away. Your eyes and your ears are blown off by the screens and the sound. And yeah, we've got AI robots behind us and everything. And there's just a real danger that we just don't bother to think anymore. And thinking is a pleasure. I think what reMarkable are trying to do is remind you that you can have the best of both. And I think reMarkable's take on AI is far more optimistic, that we'll still be thinking people in a few years' time. And that the AI is just going to be there as a tool rather than a companion.
I directly always bring up food connection and the loneliness at the bunny, and that really got me thinking. It can tell you all about our capabilities and how my
it's just a really nice place for an event. I mean, the summer garden in the middle is fabulous. And I was absolutely right that after that absolute onslaught of light and sound when I came in, stopping by the Boox booth was an absolute tonic. And yeah, that was a nice and calm place to be and talk to my contacts there about that exciting news that I've just made a video on, and I'll link that up at the end of this one maybe. But yeah, it certainly is the case that mobile e-ink is growing and is really popular, and for really good reason as well.
Nits this one, so I guess that's our choice. With digital signage, you can either go massively bright to beat the sunlight, or you can go for something reflective. So I've just collared Abid here, who just gave a talk on the future of connectivity. And of course, in that talk, Abid, you were saying about farm technology and the importance of that and the importance of connectivity. And I wasn't expecting actually the future of connectivity to feature so highly, like, you know, technology that looks after us.
Yeah, we quite into that close that give you that tech-life balance.
Yeah, tech-life balance. That's a term I hadn't heard. So it's a nice rebrand there in a way of like digital minimalism, but you know that doesn't necessarily work. You need the tech. You know, we need to use these things, and we will use AI, etc. So, and you mentioned the daylight computer, and you've tried the daylight computer.
I just tried briefly. I would say I can say like I'm an expert.
Yeah, but I have it, and I just wanted to. I'm doing a little vlog about this. This is a move. Yeah, do you want to just have a quick look and? I think. Yeah, with all this, there's so much noise around AI, and in this same hall, there's AI girlfriends, AI companions, but actually technology that looks after us.
This is exactly what I'm trying to do. We've been talking about the future of intelligence, like we featured that 2 years ago. But today we wanted to highlight how technology sometimes we have to just like take ourselves moment. We have to focus more on that balance that gave us. Let's say, okay, we're using technology every day, but sometimes these devices are not like just like very addictive to use. It's more like give us the functional experience. It is very reliable when you need it, and you are not just like be addicted to just be on it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it's just like we taking our life balance now to just think back both worlds.
So what about that app you were saying about the touch grass?
Touch grass.
Yeah, so it locks you out of your phone until you show it a photo of you touching grass.
Yeah. This is something like, it seems funny, but sometimes like since we are talking about the future for consumers, sometimes we try to focus on how sometimes we need to have this digital detox. Everyone is talking about digital detox, but sometimes we actually need to do it. Sometimes it's like very simple solution, which is very funny, matters but some people. Maybe we can have like less of an idea there, just like in the future when we do the future thingy tech experience, we can just embed this kind of experience for users to just like stop using our device for a while. And maybe you can use our device to go back to reality. And for personally, one of the great example there is like Boox Go. With the same idea.
Yeah.
It's like something
I like that idea a lot. So when I saw young people running around, I could talk for ages, but do you want to just say a little bit about yourself and your company maybe?
Yeah, so I work with the WGSN. We are a trends forecasting company. We're trying to highlight the future of consumer tech, specifically in my team. And I personally focus on the emerging between UX and AI, which is something not people are aware of.
Yeah.
How AI is already here, but not many people are trying to learn how to deal with AI, just like it's there.
Yeah, it's not going to be naturally speaking.
Exactly.
It's much more.
Exactly. So the whole way of designing the experiences of the future, like inside the technology, is going to change the way we're doing it right now. It's not going to be only a click button or you talk to the voice, but the way we build this relationship with emotions when we deal with technology. So I cover that part in my company where we help many, let's say, clients around the world to learn about the future technology.
Oh yeah, and it's what I've really enjoyed being here is connecting with people, and I think if AI can be used to give us more time to connect and actually have conversations, it's all better.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it and enjoy it actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where you can send the handwriting message.
Here we go.
The writing.
Yeah, I was really very interested in Claude when they launched, but it didn't work out because the app was just quite buggy, let's say. But let me know if you want me to revisit that and actually see if it's improved since then. I know they've now got their Claude AI Recorder Pro or something out. This is like the total opposite of IFA. Just get an entire room of Donatello and work by his workshop and followers just to yourself. Could be worse, couldn't it?
So 3 days is really enough, I think, at a trade show like that. So yeah, I just went to the Boders Museum and I enjoyed drawing on the reMarkable Paper Pro Move. And I couldn't come to Berlin without coming to the museums until, because it is just the best bit of Berlin, in my opinion. I did feel really odd going into a museum with only a e-ink tablet. Didn't bring any paper at all on this trip, and it was good to draw on. I do think though that you can enjoy both. You can still enjoy your traditional pens and paper, you can enjoy fine paper, you can enjoy lovely writing feel with real pens, and you can care about e-ink tablets. So I don't think it's like mutually exclusive. I think personally, I've just got rid of all the incidental paper, all the kind of quick rough notes, all the scruffy notebooks, and I look forward to working on actually nice drawing paper with great stationery. And this trip's been, for me, it's been more about connections and making connections, and none of that's got anything to do with AI. I kind of feel like I've been taking the mick a little bit about the kind of caring AI that seems to be the trend at the minute in IFA. But actually, appliances keeping themselves more efficient, predicting what you want. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Maybe I'll move. One of them was definitely going to get me at some point. I think it was probably my very bright shirt in the full sun attracting them there. There's nothing wrong, of course, with AI adapting your settings for you, learning your preferences. I think that's really good. And we will be naturally speaking to computers. I'm sure that's just useful. But let's just not forget about the things that make us human and make us feel more. And that still is always going to be connecting with people, having conversations. I mean, that's the basis of thinking, and that's what I've really enjoyed in this year's IFA show. And then there's the pen and the page, and that's where you give the thoughts structure. So conversations spark ideas, then you record them, you process them so that they're in a form that can help you out later. My favorite bits have been connecting with people, but also the time spent just thinking on my reMarkable move. Wherever I was in this show, with all the excitement, I could always be sure to have a quiet bit of reflection with this tablet. AI should be creating you time and space for thinking, not thinking for you. It should be letting you dream of bigger things and making them possible, not just doing what you already do, but easier and lazier and lower quality. Now, one thing in evaluation, this thing keeps like missing my swipes, especially after I've just finished writing. So I'm wondering if like the palm rejection is such that as soon as the pen's down, kind of ignores your fingers. And then if you swipe straight away afterwards, it kind of ignores that touch as well. So you maybe just have to wait a small pause after each pen stroke. One thing I really appreciate about the reMarkable move is the deeper blacks in this model. It is really good. Gallery free is good. In fact, I've hardly used the colors at all. And when I was drawing there, I kind of remembered just at the end that, oh yeah, I've got a color e-ink tablet here. And I went ahead and added color to my last drawing, but I was kind of happy just working away in the black and white pencil. And one issue with the color ink is that you don't really know what you're getting until it kind of renders through. But the deeper blacks certainly is an improvement over the reMarkable Pro. I haven't turned the front light on more than twice actually, and that was just when I was in a darker room. Apart from that, I've had the front light off the whole time. I thought it was really interesting, that talk from Abdul. Sorry the sound wasn't great on that bit. Hopefully you followed along with the kind of subtitles. I didn't realize just how close we were to quite a large speaker there. And he was talking about this tech-life balance, which I think might be the industry way of kind of rebranding the trend of digital minimalism into something that they can still sort of sell you things with. It was interesting to hear more about the Calm Tech Institute. And he was talking about, well, the app like Touch Grass, it's about giving you small wins rather than you feeling guilty about using your devices. So I think there's a kind of, positive spin on our digital lives, and knowing that we need to take breaks occasionally. We maybe need to force ourselves to take breaks occasionally from the tech, and we need to understand when we're talking to a computer and when we're talking to a person. And the lady at Medita, Ursula, said, we've been talking to the machines for ages. They've been bombarding us with notifications for ages. So it's no surprise that people feel quite natural talking to chatbots and actually sharing quite intimate feelings and thoughts with chatbots, but there's danger in that, of course. Another thing, the kind of refresh in areas looks weird at first, but at least it doesn't have to do a full refresh when it does that. Over the whole 4 days I've been at IFA, I've had to charge it once. Now, battery life is important, and so many people have said, well, what's wrong with just charging your devices overnight? Well, on this trip, I've had to charge quite a few devices, like several cameras, computer, phone, obviously, several phones. But I've only had to charge this guy once. So every evening I've had to make sure I plug my devices straight in so that there's room in the kind of queue to all be plugged into the various plugs that I bought. And charge up the power bank because I've had to charge things on the go as well. I've had to recharge the cameras as I've been working. It's quite refreshing at least to have one thing that you don't have to worry about the battery, and that should be your note taker. I hope that's been useful to you. This is the reMarkable Move. If you want to see a bit more about the state of reMarkable and their ideas when they launched this device, their thoughts about the use of AI as a tool in the background rather than something that you're right up against thinking with, something that's just maybe for digesting your thoughts so they can be more useful more readily later on, then that's this video here. I like their ideas. I like this device.